I'm Adam Biggers of today'su.com, and today I'm sitting with Joe Bolden, Michigan Wolverines senior linebacker and captain. Joe, I want to start with that. I know that the leadership, the accountability thing's always been big for you, but you seem like a guy who doesn't just talk it, you walk it. How big of a deal was it to be named the captain of this team?
Definitely special. Coach Harbaugh, when we were sitting there and he came in the room and explained that what we were going to do in the next couple of days, and start thinking about who you thought, who the team thought should be your two captains, and he came and talked about how much of an honor it was and how it's one of his biggest honors. And then prior to that, Tom Brady came in, I think a year and a half, 2 years ago now, and talked about it being his biggest honor as a football player. And he's won however many Super Bowls, and he's getting paid a lot of money to play football. And both of them have hit the nail on the head. It's an amazing feeling. Very, in a way, speechless. At the same time, very honored. Very, just pleased that my teammates think that highly of me.
Do you, kind of going on that leadership thing, always, like, especially, and I'll say this, like Oregon State, and even at Utah, you were especially critical of your mistakes. I mean, you're one of the players who are out there. Obviously, I think you had like 13 tackles at Utah or something like that. You're out there always high energy, but you're very quick to point out your own mistakes. You're very critical of your own mistakes too. I mean, can you just talk about that a little bit, because going back to just being accountable for your own actions?
Yeah, coming off the field, it's a lot easier to identify what you did and didn't do right on a certain play, and there's always room for improvement. And no matter how good you look on the field and how well you play, I'm sure there's some at least little thing that you can correct. And to me, it's easier to go ahead and make the statement, instead of having, I guess these days everybody's speculating, well, he didn't do his job, he didn't do this job. And I'm more of a black and white individual. I'll tell you when I mess up and when I don't mess up. So I guess coming off the field Saturday, when I asked that question about the first drive, it was, I screwed up. It's as simple as that. I gave up a big run, and it's not anything I want to happen. It's definitely not what we practiced for. But figured, instead of other people speculating, well, maybe it was this guy, maybe it was this guy. No, it was me. I'll take the blame for it. That way I eliminate any speculation from anybody else. And it just makes more sense to me to be black and white with people than to be gray. And I got to take responsibility. It's part of being growing up, becoming a man. You have more responsibilities, and when you mess up, you have to take responsibility for those.
Well, that's also kind of goes hand in hand with being a captain.
I guess, yeah. That's a different standpoint. A captain isn't necessarily obviously you need to play well, but it's not necessarily every snap on the field. It's what you do off the field too, which is special about that title.
What have you noticed? I mean, and everybody knows about the change in the coaching staff and everything. And I mean, what have you noticed in the past 12 months that makes you really believe that Michigan Wolverines football has a completely different attitude than maybe it has been since your time here? Now you're a senior. Yeah,
I would say working out with the guys, spending time with the guys off the field, away from Schembechler, in Schembechler. Just the enthusiasm, the energy, the passion that everybody brings to practice every day, that everybody's attitude seems to be on the same page. Everybody just seems to be on the same page. And it's a good feeling. It's a feeling and something that you want to keep up, that you want to build on, and you want to continue to build on all the way, through the last week of the season and then beyond that.
You mentioned, being away. What are some of those things that you guys do? Because let me kind of preface this here. Everybody, the non-football activities, and okay, well, we're close. We're doing, we're doing this on the side. What are some of those things that, like the non-team activities that have nothing to do with football, that you enjoy with the guys?
Yeah, gosh, there's a lot you can get into that's very negative. That Coach Harbaugh stresses to stay out of, and that you see other somebody each year playing college football screws up and gets in trouble. doing something they shouldn't, or being somewhere they shouldn't. So it helps when you go away with teammates to, you're all on the same page, like I just got done saying. You know what you should and shouldn't do, and it's easier when you're in a group where guys, if he's about to make a bad decision, you're like, no, come on. You grab him, you pick it, you get him going the other way, you just cut him off right there. Like, no, we're not going to do that or anything like that. But going into some of the activities, I would say, just hanging out, we're just like normal people outside of here. We watch TV, we watch movies. Nintendo 64 happens to be a pretty big thing. Just a lot of stuff. Golf, we had, I guess we kind of constructed and put together our own mini golf outing this year that wasn't publicized or anything, but within the team, which was kind of neat. So just a bunch of guys hanging out, doing normal things.
Right, because and I asked that because I guess there's a misconception, because when people, non-football activities, well, they're not playing football. Well, are they staring at a playbook? Are they watching the film from last week? So I guess it is kind of like, I guess I'll say refreshing. Yeah, we really do. We're just going home and we're sitting around, we're playing video games.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a time where that it's not mandatory that you're in here with other guys, or you're at home and you're sitting there and you're just talking back and forth about certain plays or schemes or whatever that, even practice that you had today. It's something that is obviously a part of our daily life, our everyday life, and I think guys at this level, you have to love it in order to, come here every day and talk about it. And
you can't just be good. You have to love
exactly,
it.
Yeah. And I think you start to see separation of individuals when it comes down to it, where it's, you separate the guys who really love the game and really want to succeed at the game with those guys that are just doing it, just because they happen to be good at it and they don't put a lot of time into it. So I think there's a separation between the two in it.
In fall camp, and I know the submarine thing was just played up and everything, but really, that submarine, that time, I guess, when Coach Harbaugh said you guys were submerged or whatever you were doing, how much did that galvanize you guys? And is it being blown up? Does the media think it was much bigger than it was, or was this kind of like really a meanning thing for you guys?
Yeah, it's funny. The media thinks a lot of stuff is bigger than it is, which is awesome. But yeah, it's entertaining to us at least. But no, I think fall camp was like we're in a submarine. We live together, we eat together, we play football together, we meet together. You're always with your teammates for a whole month, and we didn't go back home until after our first game. So we were together from pretty much the beginning of August until we played our first game. And I would say that the amount that we grew as a football team and grew together, with our relationships and everything, and really understanding one another and growing and achieving that next level as teammates, as coaches, as a family, I guess. It's a big family. So I would say the submarine thing was awesome, and it was like we were in a submarine.
How long did it take for you guys to establish a baseline? Because, and again, Harbaugh coming in with a reputation, he's a hard-nosed guy. He's old school. He's got a lot of bow in him, that kind of thing. How long, once you guys hit fall camp, did that baseline get established to where, okay, now we really know what to do and this is how it's going to be?
Yeah, I would say he made everything very clear with the first team meeting we had. I've never had a coaching. I've never experienced a coaching change when playing football, but from in my opinion, he came in day one and established very clear guidelines on how things were going to be and how things were going to run. And if you don't like them, then it's life. You move on. And if you want to abide by them and you want to win and you want to have fun and love the game doing that, then stay and we'll get it done.
Obviously, the defense has gotten a lot of praise. The D line, the secondary has some potential too. The linebackers, your position group too. But going on the other side of the ball, you're practicing, against an offensive line that that has been criticized, for the past few years. You are, a passing game, a running game that hasn't always been there. I mean, what are some of the the differences or the improvements that you saw offensively? And I guess the second part of it, we're talking a lot about offensive line improvement. It shows. What did you notice from those guys in camp?
Yeah, I would say it all comes back to their attitude and I would say execution. That you could tell that. I don't know if it was just my opinion or how I felt, but it felt like they were coming off the ball a lot harder. And we have a very good offensive line. We have a very good defensive line. And to see those guys, I'm less than 5 yards from the collisions that happen every day at practice. And to see those guys compete and really get after one another, they made each other better. And I think you're seeing the results of all the work that's put in come out on Saturdays.
My final question for you: a lot of talk about the defensive line, and you play behind those guys. I mean, do you feel like this line is? I mean, it's been you guys have been top 15 total defense the past 2 years. I mean, do you feel like this defensive line is really just what's going to lead the defense this season?
Yeah, I think it all starts with guys up front, whether you're on offense or defense. You had a D line that can take 2 guys at a time, reestablish the line of scrimmage in the backfield. It changes the game, and it changes the game for the back end and for the linebackers. The linebackers are able to run a little bit more free. They get pressure. The D-line gets pressure, rushes the quarterback and makes maybe some throws or some decisions that he doesn't want to make. And I think that their ability to play the way they're playing is helping define our defense and how we want to be.
I mean, is it safe to say that you guys, and when I say you guys, the rest of the defense saw this coming, as far as what the defensive line was able to do and has been doing?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. I don't know if, I was talking to my dad the other day and I told him, he was talking about Chris Wormley, and like, I don't know what all these people are shocked about. I've known Chris, I didn't know him my senior year of high school, but we came in freshman year, I knew him right there. And we practiced together and we've been playing together for the last 4 years, and it's something that I've seen every day, and not only from Chris, but the whole D-line, Ryan Glasgow and all those guys, Matt Godin and Mario Ojemudia. It's just all those guys being able to take it to the next level and play hard and play, and really if they need a sub, there's no drop-off,
right, which
is awesome. And it, like I said, it makes the job easier for the DBs, for the linebackers. It's that's where the game is played. It's down in the trenches.
And actually, I'll hit you one more, only because I asked Ian Bunting. He was talking about music and stuff. Your pregame, do you have kind of like a everybody talks about a pregame ritual?
Yeah.
Do you have a set routine? Is it different? What do you do before kickoff?
Yeah, I wouldn't say anything really set in ritual. Obviously, I pray, because obviously there's no other reason to be playing a game other than, he gave me all these talents, and now I got to give him, glorify him with them. At the same time, other than the praying, it's nothing that I've really, come to and made just a set ritual. The first game, I listened to the Imperial March from like Darth Vader in Star Wars, and so I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, not really any music. My dad's always preached. It's the same size football field that you're playing on Saturdays that you played on Sunday mornings when you played Pee Wee, or Saturday afternoons when you played Pee Wee, that you played in high school on Friday nights, and that you played in middle school. So just go out, play the game, have fun. It's God has given you the ability to play football, to play, in my opinion, the greatest game on this earth. So why not go out and do it? And there's really nothing to it. You just line up, you play football.
Joe, I appreciate your time today, man. Thank you.
I appreciate it.